Right. So today is a bit of a special episode. It's Christmas edition. The Common Talk Christmas special. So we were racking our brains, basically, deciding what we wanted to talk about with this. We decided we're gonna broadly talk a little bit about Christmas, about kind of certain events that have been happening around Europe, around England, a couple of things that happened last year. And the first thing we'll talk about is that a lot of Christmas kind of fairs, markets, stalls that display the nativity have kind of been vandalised by people. It happened in France recently. It was a very, very old nativity thing that had been there for years and years and years and years, and someone basically broke into it and destroyed it. They didn't catch who, but essentially there's been quite a lot of high alerts been put on places in Europe that have Christmas markets, and it begs the question, obviously, immigration is, very kind of out of control. There's obviously a lot of people of the kind of Islam religion coming in that don't necessarily celebrate Christmas. So is this a problem? Is this a concern? What's going to happen in the future?
Is Christmas under attack?
Is Christmas under attack?
Are we going to save Christmas? No, okay, yeah. So, across the kind of Western world and even the Christian world, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, a lot of Middle East, obviously. Israel.
Well, I don't know enough about this, but in I think Nigeria at the moment, there's real big because ultimately Christmas is a religious thing, right?
Yep.
It's been completely hijacked by retail and spending and what you're going to buy me for Christmas, and the big guy that comes down the chimney. But ultimately, at its heart, Christmas is a Christian celebration, and because of that, there are it's open to attack from people that don't like Christian ideals or the Western, because it's kind of, Christmas is everything that is Western, right? When we think about when I say Western, United States, Europe, etc., and everything that kind of stands for. So that is kind of capitalism and everything that kind of rolls into it. It's almost like way of life, right? And so if you attack Christmas, you're kind of attacking our Western way of life, right? And that's why we're finding a lot of kind of terror plots, just as we've seen recently on Bondi Beach with a Hanukkah celebration for the Jewish people. Same thing as with the Christian faith. The Christmas markets and things like that is very much on the agenda for a high attack. If you look around Christmas kind of festivals and markets across Europe, you'll see often there's big bollards and high security around these markets. Only just recently, there's been a plot to attack a German Christmas market. That was just a few days ago. 5 were arrested over that. You see plenty of stuff like this going on. And so we're just here to talk about it, aren't we? Really, and what that really means and what the future is, what we can do about it. And if there's any sort of wider points that can be made on that, is it ultimately, why is it happening, right? It's happening, I guess, because we're having a lot of immigration now. This didn't happen sort of 30 years ago. this has all happened in the last 20 odd years, and it's because we're inviting people into our countries, ultimately, that don't believe in Christmas, and don't like our way of life.
Yeah.
And they're the people that are attacking us.
Yeah, and just to point this out, and I know this is common sense for obviously me and Oliver, but for everyone listening, obviously we're not against other people having their religions, their celebrations. What we're against is the fact that people hate a religion, a culture so much that they're willing to really, do physical damage to it, to hurt people that are part of that religion, and I just feel that it's a narrative I think the media are not gonna talk about much, because they don't like talking about it. Because how can you talk about Christmas stalls, London having to rename markets, not Christmas markets anymore, winter markets, without talking about immigration? Let's be honest, that's the only reason they've done it.
Well, there's been a thing, isn't it? For the last few years, there's been the replacement of the word Christmas a lot of the times, and this we see this kind of reduction in Christmas for a lot of the big towns. This comes from decorating the streets to the big Christmas tree, with all its lights. Have you seen that video of it's looking at all the capital cities, the big switch on, where they've got a big Christmas tree, gigantic Christmas tree. It's a huge event. Loads of people are around to see the lights go on.
Yeah.
And they do, what it's like in, I don't know, New York, what it's like in Paris, what it's like in London. And everywhere else, they do a really good job. And then they switch to the UK, and it's just like a tree that's falling apart.
Yeah.
And you look at the celebration that we seem to have for all other celebrations, and you don't really see that. I think, I think it kind of boils down to a little while. I think this part of it is some people, I think, maybe are a bit embarrassed about celebrating it as a kind of a Christian thing, right? As a kind of because obviously a lot of people, whilst we talk about the UK being a Christian country, I don't feel it is anymore. And it's sad to say, but I just don't feel like it is. I mean, I'm not. I'm a Christian to a certain extent, but not how a Christian would have been 50 years ago. I don't go to church. I'd get my kids baptized, but that's it. And I don't. I like a nativity. I can't wait till my kids are older and we go to a nativity and stuff like that. And I don't think I'd take them to a school that didn't do that. But I guess this sort of damping of Christmas, I think people think of it as not so much religious anymore. People think of it as more of what we're going to buy, spending their day with their family. It's less of a religious holiday and more of a break holiday, more of a celebration of just family. Yeah. But is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing that kind of thing that's changed? It's no longer Christian. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure you're meant to go to like church on Christmas Eve. Like everyone's meant to go to church on Christmas Eve, and I think you're meant to go to church on Christmas Day as well. Yeah. And there's something with an orange. You get like an orange, and you put a candle in it, and that symbolizes something. I don't know. I did it when I was a kid. Yeah. And all that kind of stuff, right? And it harks back to the I don't know, like you can look at carol singing, look at the old-fashioned kind of Christian carols that you'd sing, as opposed to what people think of now. It's more Michael Bublé now, and less. Do you know what I mean? It's less Christian and more fun.
Yeah.
But is that a bad thing? We're all guilty of it, right?
It's not.
I don't think it was a bad thing. But what I find weird is when people start attacking us or whatever, or the word Christmas is removed, right? So just like get over it. It's not a Christian thing anymore. And I mean that's what I hate saying that because I think it's sad. You know when you get like, right, think of it like this. You get two different types of advent calendar, right? Now, my kids this year got two advent calendars, right? One of them was a dairy milk one, and it was just fun, dairy milk, right? And the other one was an M&S one with it had, all the Mary and Joseph and all the, all religious aspect of it.
Yeah.
That all sides going now, So is it Mary and Joseph, Jesus, and all that, right? Is it that crowd, or is it the big guy coming down the chimney crowd?
Yeah, I think
because you can't. They're two kind of separate bits, right? They're both celebrating Christmas, but one of them's religious, one of them's not. Father Christmas is not religious. Whilst I know it used to be, or there's connotation. There's a whole history of Father Christmas, by the way.
It's
really,
Saint Nicholas.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I think it was once kind of based loose on religion, wasn't it?
It was Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas was a saint. He was Christian. He would go and deliver gifts to.
Yeah, but yes, but that's not the big fat guy from North Pole coming down the chimney, giving you lots of presents, riding around a reindeer.
It's the same idea. Number one, it's obviously not. But Coca-Cola is massively commercial. Yeah. I was thinking about this last night. We were watching a Christmas film. Isn't it mental that a company managed to change the view and the colour of Santa Claus?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We've got a thing in our family that we don't say Santa, we say Father Christmas.
Father Christmas,
yeah. We don't say Santa because we don't want our kids growing up saying Santa. I just think of American movies. And also Father Christmas is a little bit more religious than Santa, But anyway, my argument of saying that it's not really religious anymore is just that. I get that it comes from, a religious history, but that's not the big fat guy coming down the bloody chimney, And it's more about, for me, Christmas is about looking at my kids' eyes when they see, a guy dressed up in, big red coat with a hat and a beard, going ho ho ho, and singing Christmas songs. For me, that's like the magical part of it. The belief in their eyes that they, they believe it all.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with Christmas becoming more westernized. If you're Christian, then you can go to you still go to the church. You can still do that. You don't need to go to a church.
Yeah, you could do both.
Yeah,
and that's one or the other
fine.
Rather.
But I think as we were kind of gone a little bit off topic, but as we were talking about before, like the problem is when. When everything starts to have to change, the Western world needs to apparently, change the way we've been doing things for hundreds of years because some people don't like it. Some people that haven't even got the rights to come into this country. It's like, well, hold on. Where are we drawing the line here? Where are we drawing the line? Are we going to draw a line? Though, I haven't heard any stories this year of them deciding to change Christmas markets to winter markets. And I think that's because, as we talked about in the last episode, the pendulum is starting to swing.
Yeah.
And the media and people have realised, actually, you do stuff like that, you are lighting a fire that you probably don't want to light.
Yeah.
And, you could argue the UK is kind of on some sort of knife edge. A small drop in the wrong direction could have a lot of effects because obviously we know that small events can cause massive demonstrations. George Floyd, for example, small event, right? Massive demonstrations, and therefore, even with the current situation, the climate of the UK, socially, politically, culturally, it's probably not a good idea. But who knows? There's still time. There's still plenty of time. But yeah, it's a weird situation. I don't think there's anything wrong though with being like having Santa Claus and it being westernized and commercialized and chocolates.
No,
I think it's great.
It's all fun.
I think there is nothing.
I think it's a lot more fun than the kind of a Christian thing of you must be naughty or not, be good all this year, otherwise you get a lump of coal.
I can't I can't wait till I have kids and I can see their little faces when you say Santa and Father Christmas. And, do you know what? I remember when I was younger, my mum's boyfriend once he went over the top with Santa. He ended up making this letter, dousing it in you could put it in coffee and it'll change the colour of it and stuff like that. He did that, wrote it to me. He got a big pair of boots on the Christmas night and like stampled like a coal all over the house to make it look like he'd come in and everything like that. And that's a Christmas I will never forget. And it's all right, fine. It might not be.
But that's true. That's what I think. It's all about the kids, right?
Yeah.
It's all about that kind of that magical moment when you believe. We should put a disclaimer at the start of this. By the way, if your kids are listening to this,
they might hear some truths about Santa's OnlyFans account.
I mean, who are we to know? Could all be real. Could be real.
Yeah, maybe it's a situation from Elf. Maybe it's going to come down, crashing apart.
Is it bad, by the way, that I was with the father in Elf?
What do you mean?
Well, so in the film Elf, right? The dad was getting annoyed, like everyone was just the elf character Will Ferrell was just like really annoying.
Oh yeah,
and I was with the dad. I was like, it's stupid.
Yeah, no, but you I think as you get older, you kind of are, aren't you? As a kid, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Some random 40-year-old man's just walked in and is calling me dad. Like, get lost. I'm trying to work. But yeah, I mean, I still think it's a good film.
Do you like Christmas?
I love Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Christmas for the kids. Everything else just annoys me. I'm like the Grinch every year. I like it a little bit more now because I've got kids, but that's it. I hate how much Christmas takes over. So if it was just a case of, okay, it's Christmas, here's a couple of presents, right? Mm-hmm. But these days, it's insane. There's too many presents. There's too much expectation. Oh, you've opened a camera. Well, I have. There's too much expectation. There's too much like pressure. Everyone puts way too much pressure on themselves.
That's true.
And sort of anticipation of what they might get, and they just forget. I think people lose what it should be about, in my opinion, which should be about family and everyone getting together and just playing board games and just being together, right?
Yeah.
And having some good food. But for me, it's always the case. Every year, there's just so much pressure about presents, and all that. And then everyone takes up so much time off work. I'm trying to run a business, and everyone takes like 2 weeks off, and sometimes other people take the alternative week off, and then nothing happens over those few weeks, and then there's that wind down before, and then when everyone's back, there's that backlog when everyone's back, and so what you end up is for like a good solid 2 months of the year, you got a really low productivity rate in our business, at least. Sucks.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what?
It just takes over.
This is the first year of me being self-employed and working for myself, and I'm going to be working 23rd, 24th. I'll probably do some work on 25th, and I'll be working 26th. Obviously, when you own your own business, there's stuff that just has to be done. And there is no question of it's fine to take time off and all, but you know what I mean? Like when work's got to be done, it's got to be done.
Yeah, but the moment that either you have a family and then you need to take that time off yourself, or you employ people and they're going to be taking it off, and you're like, well, no, there's stuff to be done. Don't take it off, but you have to give it off.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's just such a frustrating thing.
I can understand that. I mean, look, I'm not in a situation where I employ people. You know, hopefully one day I might be in that situation, and I'm sure that's something I'm going to look back at this conversation and go, oh, bloody hell, Oliver was right. But you know, do you know what? It's a difficult time currently for I think a lot of business owners, because you know currently a lot of businesses are on the absolute brink, and this is just, it's almost like it's almost like you're awaiting a sentence. You know, your new year is coming. That's the ramp up for the end of the tax year. You're starting to stress, you know, oh God, what's going to happen? And for a lot of businesses, it's not going to be a jolly time. You know, especially business owners. You're talking, most business owners are in their 30s, 40s, 50s. You know, they've got kids. Maybe the business is not doing well. You know, they've got kids. They want to buy presents for them. They've got a wife, you know, or a husband.
Well, that's a very good point. You know, I mean, a lot of people stress around this time of year. You know, if they can't afford the present that their kids want, I think people put way too much pressure on themselves, like to get that present for the kid as well, because maybe, I don't know, their friends are getting that as well. It's just like this race to get to just throw money at kids. I don't find that they're really even massively grateful for it. I just don't, like, you know, we get stuff for ours, and honestly, they prefer playing with the box, right? So, you know, what's the point? What's the point? And it's always, you know, grandparents want to spoil their kids. I get it, you know, and everyone wants to spoil the kids. I get it, but sometimes it's just too much. I genuinely feel like I was saying, I think we need to put like a cap or a financial cap or something on the presents, because the more that you give to them, the less they appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're trying to instill, you know, a sense of you know, be grateful for what you've got. Don't be spoiled, and it's hard to do that when everyone buys them bloody presents.
Well,
I don't know, it's hard not to, because they're so lovely.
When I was a kid, you know, obviously I was spoiled massively by my mum, my dad. But yeah, I can understand it. You know, you have less gratitude. I have way more gratitude now for the things I get, and I still get quite a lot. My mum, I try to get my mum not to, you know, go overboard, but she's one of those people that goes overboard. And when I have money, I go overboard as well. And yeah, I think it's just, I don't know, it's just a situation, isn't it? It's a weird one. It's a weird one. But yeah, I mean, Christmas, I do like Christmas. I think...
Bar humbug from me.
Yeah, you're a little Scrooge, aren't you?
I am.
You really
as I said, I'm only living it for the children.
Mate, you're going to get visited by 3 ghosts soon.
Good. And you know, the whole situation. You know what I love? January. Because it's all done.
Let's clip that as the only time someone has ever said that.
And it's and then you got a whole 12 months until Christmas. I love it. No, I am half joking.
Half joking.
Yeah, because I love Christmas Day. I love Boxing Day, but keep it to those 2 days.
Do you know what?
You don't need the rest of it.
I really love. Does your staff work on Christmas Eve?
Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I love
have Christmas Eve off, have Christmas Day off, have Boxing Day off, and then just keep it to those 3 days. Have maybe New Year's Eve off, maybe New Year's.
I would say have New Year's Day off. Everyone that can finish work on New Year's Eve get absolutely smashed and recover on New Year's Day.
But so maybe have those days off if you want it, you know. Saying about different religions and whatnot, it is sometimes good to have those people that, I remember going on nights out.
Yeah,
and,
it keeps the country running.
You speak to the taxi drivers, and you say, "You're not home for Christmas," and they say, "I'm whatever religion. I don't celebrate Christmas." And you're like, "Oh, okay."
Well, I feel like you were trying to do it. You were about to do an accent there, but you decided to stop.
It definitely wasn't doing an accent. No, that's you. So he's like, "Oh, that's good then," But I feel sorry, for the kids that go to schools with other other kids that celebrate Christmas. It must be quite hard for them, because they've got all the other kids in their school. Oh, what'd you get for present? What'd you get for Christmas? What'd you get for Christmas? And that sense of that kind of resentment a little bit.
Yeah, but do you know what really annoys me as well?
I know they have Eid and stuff like that, but
every year, without fail, on TikTok, right, I see same demographic of people, mostly girls, post on their little TikTok saying, "Don't show off your presents because you need to remember not everyone is as lucky." And I get that, I truly do, but shut the fuck up. Honestly,
who celebrates their presents anyway?
No, I know, but you know what I mean. Like,
ooh, I got loads of Scale Electric.
Yeah, but oh well, you need to remember they're older. Obviously, I'm talking about older generation, not the generation that'll sit there. Mind you, I've got. Last year I've got a friend that's my age. I went round his house. He's like, "Do you want to play Scale Electrics?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "I've got a Scale Electrics track."
To be fair, it is quite fun.
It was great fun. I haven't had so much fun in so long. But yeah, I don't know. It's just some things annoy me. Some things annoy me.
Cool. Should we wrap it up there? Yeah.
Migrant. Okay, I'm not going to read that. Don't want to open up a catfish. Yeah, let's wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Well, if you're watching,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And have a Happy New Year. We'll probably speak to you before that. But
yeah.
Merry Christmas. And just remember, there are people out there that aren't as lucky. They have to celebrate Christmas with people that don't like Christmas. Like Oliver's wife.
I like
so
Christmas
remember
Day.
that.
Anyway, bye-bye.
Goodbye.